Hello and welcome to Zero Point Energy, with a 0 point what we talk about and just as much energy. I'm Sean.
And this is Jorge.
And tonight we are talking about the 1989 wonderful, seminal, the best of the best Batman movies. Batman.
Nowadays, people know it as Batman 1989, but yes, Batman.
Yes. I mean, okay, I won't say best Batman, but Michael Keaton is up there. He's definitely in the top three.
I would give him the best Batman, honestly. Like,
Conroy will always be best Batman.
okay, I meant best live action. I didn't mean best overall.
I mean, he was a pretty good live action Batman, even though he was only in 10 minutes of screen time.
He was an asshole in that one. Fuck that.
He's still best Batman.
Best Batman, boys. Best Batman
Oh,
character.
wait,
I won't give
Mark
him...
Hamill's still best Joker.
Fine. Okay, overall,
Even though Alan Tudyk does do the Mark Hamill Joker voice almost as well.
His is a little darker. Literally, in
It's
terms
a
of
little
tone.
darker, but it's not deeper. It's just his comedy style is a lot darker.
True. Okay.
Like even when Hamill was allowed to go super dark for the Batman Beyond movie, it still was not as dark as half the jokes Tudyk made in Harley Quinn.
Mostly. I'll say mostly.
Mostly?
Yeah. I mean, this...
70-30. 60-40?
65. I'll give you 65-35.
Okay, that works. I'll accept those odds.
Now, this movie is really, really weird. And not in terms of the movie itself. The movie itself is kind of weird in terms of how they put it together. But it's weird the way it came together. Because there's been Batman media since before this. I remember the black and white ones that are actually also... Oh, well, we should say this. This movie, as well as what we're talking about for the most part, is available on Tubi this month in January 2024.
Yes, this one is leaving Tubi soon, but this is one of the ones that doesn't have a date listed next to when exactly soon is. So as of the time of this recording, it's going to be up for at least another month. Because usually they don't put the date on it until it's in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Unfortunately.
But it's a good movie. Got to see it for free. I mean, I've seen it a ton in my life. I've seen it when I was a little kid. I mean, this was what got me into Batman before the Batman animated series.
This movie came out, and I don't know why I never saw it on, like WGN or Fox. I didn't see it on any of the regular TV channels. I don't know why, but I just never did. Even in Spanish.
I almost never saw it on regular broadcast TV. I saw it almost exclusively on cable.
Like,
I mean, I did every now and then catch it on like one of the late night, like Friday night movies on like Channel 50 when they used to do late night movies. But when I say late night movies, I'm talking like 11:30 at night on a Friday.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Yeah, they had the weirdest start times for their movies. And then there's like, once the movie ended, that was end of broadcast day.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean...
So, if you fell asleep during the movie, you got woken up by Star Spangled Banner.
Literally...
And then the color pattern and
boo! Literally
for the next 3 hours.
Literally, as a kid, I saw every single Batman movie except for this one on TV. And I didn't see this one until I was in my teens.
I saw this one on VHS as a kid. You know, my parents rented it. And then we owned the VHS too. So like, at some point I had this one on tape, so we watched it a lot. Me and my brother. And it's just a fun movie. Like, Michael Keaton is great in this movie. Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, also awesome. Fun, weird fact for this one. Sharon Stone, who plays Selena Kyle in Batman Returns, was auditioned for and originally offered the role of Vicky Vale, but she was dating Michael Keaton at the time, and he's the one who said no. He didn't want to work with someone he was dating with.
Wait, I thought Selena Kyle was Catwoman. What do you call
it?
Yeah,
Catwoman.
What do you call it? No, but it was Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, 'cause you said Sharon Stone.
I mix the hot blondes from the '80s up sometimes.
How could you? They have different boob sizes. I'm kidding.
But they have similar every fucking thing else.
No. Maybe, but
Yeah.
no. We don't say that. We don't admit that.
I'm sorry. Sometimes white people look like white people.
Sometimes.
Especially them basic blondes.
There's no such thing as a basic blonde.
Yes, there is. I think it's color code R47 and you for L'Oreal.
How do you know that?
I mean, it used to be my job to merchandise things.
Like, but you colored your hair literally every dark color you could get between, like, black and red. You never used blonde.
Oh, no, I had blonde.
When did you ever have... We're getting off topic again.
There's no topic here. When I was in high school, I was blonde in high school.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine blonde.
My last year of high school, for that entire year, I was blonde, platinum blonde, strawberry blonde, cinnamon. I was red. I was auburn. I was crimson red, blood red, blue, green, purple, burgundy, shiny metallic silver, silver gray, white, midnight black, purple black, blue black, raven black. If they made a color, it was in my hair. And I will proudly state I used to go to the hair salon to have them do my hair because I firmly believed after seeing many people fuck up their hair in high school, I'm going to pay to get it done once right than have to pay to get it fixed.
Okay, it makes sense, but still, I can't even imagine you with all those goddamn colors. Basic black works for you. Just, okay.
Basic black is my normal hair color. That's my natural hair color.
That's why. I don't know. Okay, look, and
now it's kind of salt and pepper. I'm getting gray. I'm old, man. I'm old.
Moving on. Anyways, now specifically, one thing that I didn't know about this movie or didn't remember, Billy D. Williams is Harvey Dent. He barely has any screen time on this.
Billy D. Williams is the best Harvey Dent. I mean, Aaron Eckhart in the Nolan trilogy, he's good. Billy D. Williams. I loved him. I would love if they could have made more of the Tim Burton Batman, and we could have gotten a Billy D. Williams Two-Face.
Okay, I don't know if this is a racist part of me or what do you want to call it, but I'm kind of imagining, okay, regular face Billy D. Williams, and then vitiligo Michael Jackson Billy D. Williams. And I kind of want that version of Two-Face to go hee. I don't know why.
See, you're seeing it that way. I'm seeing regular Billy D. Williams and then dark Billy D. Williams. Because Billy D. Williams is semi-light skinned. He's not a very dark man. But he's not a very light skinned man either. He's that in between.
Okay.
I could see the Two-Face side being the darker side.
Or they could go full comics and make the other side of the skin blue.
Blue or purple.
Yeah.
One of them is green.
I don't remember the green one. What was that?
I forget. Just one of the comics. I want to say it's just the way the color ended up becoming when they transitioned it to, like, when they did the mass printing. Kind of like how Gray Hulk was a complete accident. Because the shade of green they used when they went to the mass printing, it undersaturated and just became gray.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it, that's Gray Hulk. It's a different Hulk.
Okay, like the beginning of this movie was a little weird, and I was watching it on like paying attention, like trying to note different things in the movie. Like it starts off like noir-ish and then also campy. It's weird.
Well, that's what this movie was. That's what the Tim Burton ones, especially the Burton Spielberg ones. So, Batman and Batman Returns. They are very kind of noir, kind of campy, which is what we got with Spielberg's wonderful creation, Batman the Animated Series.
I still give Tim Bruce all the credit for that, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but Spielberg was a big hard push for getting that done.
Agreed.
And he loved that kind of film noir look for it, and that's what his Gotham is. It's more noir looking. So you get that at the beginning of this movie, and then for people familiar with Batman, excuse me for a second. For people familiar with Batman, you see the beginning of this movie, and before they say a character name, you would assume we're starting full origin. This is Batman and his parents out behind Monarch Theater in Crime Alley, about to get mugged and shot. And it turns out, no, it is Jimmy the Tourist and his parent. Yes, those are actual character names. And they are about to get mugged. And Batman saves them.
Okay, but even the way he looked into the camera during those during the beginning, it wasn't long, it was just a couple of shots, but I don't know if the meme with Batman with the horny smile is from this movie, but it sure looks like it could be.
It might be. It might be. If not from this one, it might be from Batman Returns, because there are a lot of horny smiles directed to Selena Kyle.
Look, like, my point is, though, like, specifically when Keaton is in the Batsuit, and I'm not taking away anything from his performance or the way that it looks, because it looked cool at the time, but he kind of looks like he's too short for the Batsuit, and he kind of looks like he's struggling to. He reminds me of that other comic with the little kid in the oversized Batsuit.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the things they had to intentionally do. They had to oversize the Batsuit a little bit so that he could actually move. You kind of get that in The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, where in Christian Bale's Batman, he's commenting and complaining that there's no range of movement. He can't even turn his fucking head. Give me 1 second. With this, you got the references to they oversized the suit so that Michael Keaton could actually walk around and move in it and do any type of action in it. And you get some reference to that with the Dark Knight with Christian Bale, his Batman, where he makes those references to the armor and the cowl and everything, where I can't even turn my fucking head.
Yeah, okay.
That was one of the things for this original suit. The rubber that it was made out of was really stiff, and he could not move when it was sized appropriately. So they oversized it so he could move around. But then you kind of see that sometimes when he's just standing there, and you see the little gap at the neck where it's a little bulgy, a little extra, so he can move his head to some degree. He still can't fully turn without just pivoting his hips.
Okay, now.
So you got that RoboCop turn?
Okay, yes, but even when he went in... Okay, this is near the end of the movie, but whatever. When he goes in the Batmobile, bombs his way into Axis Chemical, blows the entire place up, okay? He sees Joker escaping in the helicopter, he's in the rain, and he looks like a little kid staring up, and he's even smirking like, meh. I was laughing my ass off. I was.
Well, he's also literally just sitting there, only in the cowl, for that scene, and they're just letting him play with the fireworks button. So that's why you get the flashes from the machine gun. They let him have the button to fire the machine gun, so he's actually sitting there shooting the blanks.
That's another thing.
He's just Kidding Christmas, fucking. He's not doing anything. He's just firing blanks out of the machine gun. It's pointing at a wall. Like the whole prop for when he's in the cockpit there, when they only show him in the cockpit, it's a nothing. It's just a little cockpit that he's sitting in. It's a motion rig.
I feel some kind of way because it seems to me that it's a cop-out, okay? Because Batman would not use guns, okay? But at the same time, they put them...
when he does.
Well, for the most part, you know what I mean. It's very anti-gun, except for when he does, you're right. But at the same time, you put them on the plane or you put them on the Batmobile, that ain't right. But at the same time, okay, I can't really say nothing because, like you said, except for when he does, okay? But I'm not counting his...
That's the thing where most iterations of the Batplane and the Batmobile have had some form of missile launcher or machine gun. Even going back to the 30s and stuff, the original Batmobile had a machine gun on it. It had a fucking Tommy gun mounted to it.
I actually saw those on 2B2. I'm gonna watch those later.
Those are so fun to watch. But yeah, like that original like Lincoln that they used, the old original sedan that he was driving around in, it also had machine guns that popped out of the fenders. Like that's what this Batmobile was meant to be an homage to. Even with the when he says he speaks into the little microphone, shield, and the thing just gets covered in metal plates. One of the old original Batmobiles did that. Like he could just say shield, and then the whole thing is just armored, but it couldn't move.
I mean,
But that's another thing to the. You say Batman wouldn't use he wouldn't use the machine guns. He wouldn't use the missile launchers on the.
No, he would use the missile launchers. I'm only talking about the guns. Only the guns.
But there's also the whole Batman doesn't kill.
The hell he doesn't.
Except in this particular movie, when Batman kills an entire warehouse full of Joker's minions, because when he breaks into Ace Chemical, when he goes and shoots out the door and drives through the place, and then he gets surrounded by them, he locks it down, puts up the shields, but then you see the hubcaps come out and the sensors drop, the little balls, and everybody looks down, and they're bombs, and he levels the fucking factory.
Okay, yes.
Those guys did not have enough time to run away from that explosion.
Okay, hold on,
He killed all of those henchmen.
No. Hold on, okay? Batman doesn't kill people. Gravity kills people. Batman doesn't kill people, okay? Explosion waves kill people. Batman doesn't kill people.
Explosive waves, when he blows shit up next to them, is understandable. When he drops a bomb at their feet that they can't run away from, Batman killed those people.
This is what they signed up for, and this is why they have amazing life insurance plans. No, they have to have some. Hold on. They have to have some kind of plans, because literally, Joker made him dress up in his colors. They literally had uniforms. They must have some kind of like insurance.
They had a bunch of Prince albums.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, what's it called? There was 2 specific songs. It was "Party" and.
It's 3 or 4 specific songs that are in here.
I only have 2. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but it is like every time the dude carrying the boombox, he's playing Prince on the boombox, and that's the thing. It is canonically Prince in the movie that they're playing. They're playing Prince's music in the movie.
All right, they're playing.
So Prince exists in Gotham.
They're playing it when they were defacing the paintings in the museum/restaurant. I have no idea what the hell that was.
It was a museum/restaurant. Yep.
Okay, so it was. And then like there was one more when they were in the plane. I forgot not the plane. They were in the parade. I forgot what that one was called.
They're in the parade. They're playing the song. I forget the name of that one. They got the one that's from when they're in the museum, and then there's one more song that he was playing. When he first makes his entrance into Vicky Vale's apartment, he's playing a Prince song, and then it transfers over to the kind of love ballad.
Oh, that one I had.
Like when they're just walking around, he's just blasting Prince, and then he has to change the tape to be a different thing.
Yeah, that was the theme from. I forgot. I love that song though, but yeah, it's the theme from not Love Story, but something like that.
Yeah. But I love that it is canonical, that it is actually Prince. Even when Joker's making the reference to we're going to have musical guests, the Prince song starts playing in the background, which means canonically, he's like, yes, Prince will be playing at my parade.
I don't know how I feel. Like, does that mean Jack Nicholson is... Well, not Jack Nicholson. What's Jack Napier is friends with Prince. He owns part of the rights to his music, which I wouldn't doubt. Or, I mean, technically, Warner Brothers owns the right outright of Prince's music. Now he's dead, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing. But, it's one of those fun things for the movie.
Oh, one more thing. That song is called Theme from A Summer Place. That's it.
The one that was playing when he's in the apartment, or the one that was playing when they're having dinner?
When they're having dinner.
Yeah. He plays a different theme when he breaks into an apartment. when he shoots Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that one I don't know. Also, that was okay. I like Keaton's acting, okay, especially now. But then in that specific scene, I was like, I know I don't want to laugh, but you're funny in this. Let's get nuts. No, no.
Let's get that.
Just
Yeah.
like he's trying to be intimidating. He's trying to hold him
Well,
off.
he's trying to be intimidating, but he's also trying to be this is what happens when you're just a spoiled rich kid.
Yes, but
like he doesn't understand how to be intimidating.
That's another thing. Like the way he plays Bruce Wayne through this movie, it's not a billionaire playboy. If anything, honestly, and I don't know how else to say this. It's gonna be offensive. It just is. Okay. I don't know if he's just autistic on the spectrum, maybe, or if he has never had a social life at all, which could fit for some rich kids. But you know what I mean?
He's never had the proper social life, and that's part of the reclusive playboy billionaire. Like when he is out and about, you've always got the stories of him with some woman. But when he's not, it's like, okay, so what the fuck does he do the rest of the year when he's not at one of these parties? Because the party season is only 2 or 3 months out of the year.
I went to a rich white high school, okay? Believe me, there's a lot more parties during the year.
Yeah, but when are these socialite parties that you have to attend to keep your reputation up?
Depends on the place.
The ones that the non-rich people are not allowed to go to.
I have no effing idea. You tell me.
Mostly between the summer and fall. And then major holiday.
Another part about this I liked but also didn't like. They took Jack Napier's like tragic story from being the Red Hood and then he becomes a Joker because he was just hired to be the Red Hood, but instead he was a psychopath. He killed Batman's parents and then he made himself the Joker because he literally shot the dial that sprayed into his face that made him fall. It was not Batman's fault at all.
Well, Batman helped him.
Okay, fine. Batman helped him. But at the same time, okay, they took away Joe Chill. How could they take away Joe Chill?
Well, Joe Chill wasn't a thing before this. This was an after. Joe Chill was an after thing.
Okay, Joe Chill came. I remember Joe Chill specifically because of the episode in the animated series. Okay, if Joe Chill was not a thing then, I wouldn't know about it. If that's true, yeah. I take it back.
But it's kind of like Harley Quinn. Some things didn't exist until it was created in the show, and then it just became canon. Okay. So Joe Chill became canon because of that episode. So they rewrote all the canon to Joe Chill was the one who killed his parents, not Jack Napier.
Speaking of best Harley Quinn is Arlene Harkin from the original. Sorkin. It's Sorkin?
Sorkin, yeah.
Arlene Sorkin from the original series. Best Quinn. Yes. Best Harley. That's all.
I mean, I am enjoying Haley Cuoco in Harley Quinn, though.
No, I agree. She's good, but you can't beat the original. The only one who came close was what was
Tara Strong?
I think it was Tara Strong. Tara Strong, or the one from where Harley tries to go straight, but then she ends up sleeping with Nightwing, and she helps Batman and Nightwing find somebody. I forgot that movie. I forgot what it was.
God, I forgot the name.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know who she plays. It's Big Bang Theory, not Penny, because that's Kaylee Cuoco.
Michelle Rauch. Michelle Rauch.
Yes, Michelle Rauch. She does Harley Quinn in that movie.
Michelle Rauch. Oh wow. Okay.
I'm 90% sure on that one. You'd have to look that up to double check it for me, but I'm pretty sure in that particular movie it's Michelle Rauch.
Melissa. Sorry, my fault. Melissa Rauch.
No, sorry, Melissa Rauch. Yeah. Like, not 100%, but about 85 to 90% sure it's Melissa Rauch in that movie is the voice of Harley.
You are correct. Batman and Harley Quinn. That's the name of the movie. You are right.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see.
Yeah, she also does a really good Harley Quinn voice. But, from her playing Bernadette, she can do the decent Jew Brooklyn accent.
Very true. Very true. I wanted to mention one more thing, but no. Going back to the
Go ahead.
movie.
Mention all the things.
Batman Beyond, they brought Harley back, and she was getting mad and smacking the twins with her purse. Like, what the hell is wrong with you two? I put food on the table because your parents.
That was Melissa Joan Hart.
That was Melissa Joan Hart.
Well, I think the twins are played by Melissa Joan Hart.
Okay, that I believe. Yeah,
it might be Tara Strong who does the older Harley Quinn for that episode.
All I know is it was amazing. It was hilarious and it was awesome.
It was. I love it. I love that it's like the subtle nod that you're not sure of until that little like scene right before credits roll. I was like, but Grandma Harley. Like, wait, really? The twins are fucking her grandkids? Or like, then it's like, okay, well, who the fuck did she fuck that gave her a kid?
I know,
it definitely wasn't Joker.
It has to be somebody who's a redhead, because like the twins are redheads and she was a blonde.
Jason Todd. Well, if you mix a brunette with a redhead, you can't. I mean, with a brunette with a blonde, you can get a redhead.
I'll give it to him.
Or not Jason Todd. They're Nightwing's kids.
I don't know.
God, who's Nightwing? God, I can't remember. My brain's broken. Nightwing. Dick Grayson. She did like the tricky dick.
Moving on.
Speaking of tricky dicks, where does Joker get all of the props from? This man falls into a vat of acid. Now, he's a very serious gangster. Falls into a vat of acid. Has a gangland doctor kind of fix his face kind of sort of best he can with limited shit. And then next day has the Joy Buzzer death. Like, this movie takes place over the course of like a week or two. He had time to get uniforms for henchmen. He had time to get the Joy Buzzers, to get the super-powered punching glove, to get the false hands that were the exact same size and shape of his hand. Like, where did he get all the props? The acid-spitting tulip. I mean, where did he get all the props? Where did he get the money for all the props? I know he took over the one guy's criminal enterprise, but no, he got a lot of props within a day or two.
I don't know, but I had a theory, kind of like what do you call it?
A game theory.
That game theory. I had a theory, kind of like Deadpool. He has a bag of many things, or bag of everything, something like that. Whatever the hell that power is called. Whenever he needs it, he can just pull it out because he thinks it's funny.
Yeah, that could make some sense. But it's still just like, some of the stuff is custom made. Like, how did he have time? When did he have this made? Was he planning on becoming the Joker the entire time? And his fight with Batman just kind of accelerated that timetable?
Who knows? He did like the deck of cards, so maybe.
I mean, he did already have the purple suit.
Very true. Also, the fact that the Smilex commercial, okay? They said the two model names, Amanda and Candy. Why didn't they just do Mandy and Candy, or Candy and Mandy?
Because they really wanted to, but they wanted to use their proper name.
Whose proper name is Candy? It's Candice or Candice or Candida.
I don't know.
Wait, do I know somebody named Candida? I do, but with
Canada?
a T. No, Candida with a T.
I don't know. People are weird. Names are even weirder.
Yeah. Okay, like I was saying before at the beginning of the movie, like it seems kind of weird because they started off noiry, then they went campy with the fighting where Batman fights the two guys, and then they go from campy back to noir, and then they go from noir to kind of everyday with the party.
Yeah.
Also, was Knox supposed to be comic relief? Because it was like he tried, but he couldn't.
Yes and no. Like, Knox is meant to be, for the animated series, Knox is in the animated series. It's Bullock.
No, that's Eckhart.
No, that's right. I'm confusing the two. Oh, him. Yeah, no. Yeah, he was supposed to be comic relief. I was spacing on what character was who. Yeah, no, he was comic relief because
I'm sorry, he was not that funny.
he wasn't. And like, I think his problem was when he was young, he had a face that was easy to confuse, and his style of comedy was easy to confuse with oh god, I'm just spacing on the name again. Brian Pullman.
Ah, okay, Brian Pullman, yeah.
Because some of Knox's dumb one-liners, which I can't think of any of them because they are forgettable as shit, but they're very reminiscent of Pullman's "Game over, man, game over." Like, it's a dumb thing, but within the context, for Brian Pullman's character, for Pullman's character in Aliens, it's perfect. It works great because it's a reference to the fact that very few of those Marines had been on combat missions. They'd always done the simulators. So seeing people die, Bill Paxton, yeah. So seeing the people die was them having game over. So it was funny, contextual, and serious at the same time. And then Tim Robbins as Knox is trying to do the same shit, but only be funny. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
he comes off as being annoying. Like, he's supposed to be this kind of, not the straight man, but he's supposed to be the comic to Vicky Vale. Like, when they're investigating, he'll say the dumb one-liner and she's the serious journalist.
Speaking of Vicky Vale.
But really it comes up as him just being this annoying douche nozzle.
Like, when they first meet and she mentions the Maltese and he's like, holy shit, you're amazing, and all this stuff. Like, when he says, what are you doing in Gotham? And she literally just says she likes bats. She comes off as innocent yet flirty, kind of like, I don't know what was supposed to go on there because it doesn't exactly work. Because it's either like ulterior motives, she's aroused, or she's hiding her intent and she has no poker face. I really don't know.
It's a little from column A, a little from column B.
But, okay, I didn't know being aroused by bats was a thing. If so, fine, go for it, Vicky Vale.
It's the being innocent and flirty, but while also having no poker face and basically just saying, I'm looking for Batman because I think he's hot.
She doesn't even know what he looks like. Okay, fine, yeah.
Oh, but the concept of him. The dark, brooding vigilante.
Okay, fine, yeah, that makes sense.
Like this movie... I know there are some scenes for this movie that were shot but never used. And some of them are like Knox is investigating and stuff. So, and they weren't used because they knew it either made him seem like too relatable of a character and like, well, no, he's supposed to be the dumb guy that nobody likes and nobody believes because he's not a serious journalist. And then some of the other scenes that they used were just like, oh, this just makes him look even more insufferable. We can't use this because then everybody will fucking hate this guy so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Like at the parade, you actually kind of root for him.
Yes.
When he, tells Vicky to get in the car and go away, and he goes and finds the dust filter and puts it on his face and is beating the guys off with the baseball bat to get them to let go of the balloons.
Let's rephrase that.
Yeah,
eating the
finally you're doing. Yeah, but finally he's doing something useful.
Yes, I was rooting for him.
But if they'd have had the scenes that were shot for before that just makes him even more insufferable because him constantly hammering home the point of the Batman's real, or keep pushing those awkward jokes that he's constantly making. You are just hoping that he's one of the victims that you see who gets the rictus smile.
Okay, that I'm not that bad. I didn't root for that. I
mean, if they had left those scenes in, those scenes where he's just pushing those bad jokes, like they had some more scenes where he's just being more and more of an insufferable ass.
Okay, besides him, another part where Vale gets rescued by Batman, and they both get in the car. He takes her to the Batcave, and then she just faints and wakes up later on in her apartment with with no photos. Like, did Batman roofie the blonde?
Yes.
God damn it, no, you bastard! Why would you do that?
Because.
Okay, there are other movies where Batman literally scares people into fainting and shit. So I'm a little like, but at the same time, I get it because no, she
But
had
yeah,
to
she
not.
wasn't that intimidated by him, so like he wasn't going to scare her into fainting. Like he literally had to knock her out.
Okay, like in terms of today's PC culture, okay, like hero feeder.
Like it,
But hear me out,
okay,
hear me out. Hero feeder, or okay, he could just knock her lights out. I think knocking her lights out would have been more respectful.
well, let's see. It's not bad. It's not as bad that he knocked her out. It's the fact that she very specifically hid the film in her bra before, and she did that before he got up to the raw, which means
Yeah.
he went looking for that film. And that was her first instinct when she woke up. She woke up and instantly starts pawing around at her chest and like, oh god damn it, he took the film.
Yep.
She's not upset that this man felt her up while she was unconscious. She's upset that he took the film out of her titty holder.
That's another thing. The way that Spruce was acting throughout dinner before, what do you call it? Before she actually slept with him, like, what kind of magnetism does this man have that awkward works for him? This doesn't make sense.
He has my kind of dumb charisma. That's what he had.
Fuck you, people.
It's not our fault that people like me. I wish they didn't, because I fucking hate other people so much. But people like me for some reason.
Okay, another thing. Eckhart. He's a crooked cop, but he's very... I wouldn't call it straight-laced. I'd call it just... I'm lazy and I'm getting taken care of because I'm getting paid on the side. Fuck you, people. Like,
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
see, that's the thing. Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I'm kind of glad when Spielberg did the animated series and they also had the Eckhart character, but they switched it to Bullock. They kind of kept the fat, lazy slob who's looking for the easiest way to do his job part, but changed it to, no, he has honor. He's still a good detective. He's not going to take the bribe. He won't do the Eckhart. But he's a fat, lazy slob who's going to find the easiest fucking way to do his job. And if that means having other people do all the work while he gets the credit, so fucking be it.
yeah.
But that's partially what makes us love Bullock in those show.
Yeah.
Every time he's on the screen, it's like, you know he's this straight-laced stand-up guy. But god damn, is he going to do something stupid that's either going to fuck up the investigation or it's like, you know, if you'd have just taken the bribe, you could have fixed all of this and still gotten your outcome. Like, stop being the Boy Scout. You're fat and lazy. Here's the one shortcut you decide not to take.
Okay, another thing. Is it just me or did Joker's smile switch halfway through the movie? The makeup,
what do you mean?
Like, okay, at the beginning, it seemed like his face wasn't as stretched, quote unquote. Then towards the end of the movie, it was full on. I'm smiling and I love it. I don't know how else to describe it because before it seemed like it was a prosthetic and then his mouth was still small and then at the end it was like, I'm not fighting this anymore, my mouth is wide, quote unquote.
That's basically what it is. It's that transition. You notice it throughout the movie of the more and more that Jack becomes more comfortable and identifies as the Joker, the more he smiles and the more he himself is smiling to match the scar smile that the chemicals gave.
Also, how the hell did Joker get his hands on a classified CIA document about chemicals from 1966 to make his Smilex? He's a gangster. Wait. Okay, he also owns a chemical factory, so
I mean, yeah.
I mean, but
he's a gangster. He went through shady dealings in that.
You can't Freedom of Information Act ingredients to a Agent Orange.
No, but you also can't Freedom of Information Act the way to build homemade explosives. But there's a book that you can buy that tells you it.
We're not mentioning it on the podcast.
Oh, I'm not mentioning that book. I'm just saying it exists. You're not supposed to have it, but shady people get it all the fucking time.
Fine.
When you have enough shady contacts, you can get any information you fucking want.
Okay, after Bruce and Vicky Vale have sex, she wakes up to see him hanging by some kind of doohickey like a bat. They were trying a little too hard, don't you think?
Well, in the 80s, that was a semi-normal workout. Like those gravity things were like a lot of people were using them.
Okay, I didn't know it was a decade thing. Fine, like I remember.
Oh yeah, I mean there used to be infomercials and shit all the time for those contraptions that make you hang upside down, so you could do crunches and shit, or just to hang to like gravity straighten out your vertebrae and stuff. And obviously, Bruce isn't doing it for the exercise. He's doing it to train himself to not pass out from having the blood rushing to his head while he's hanging upside down, fucking watching people.
That's like the opposite of what pilots do when they're in the air. Instead of blood rushing to your feet, it's rushing to your brain.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, pilots are trying to not let the blood rush to their head, because that's when you get the red out. But they're trying not to let it all go down to their feet, which is where you get the blackouts and the gray out.
Right.
So they have to do both. They have to do the same exercises to keep the blood kind of in one spot. If you just hang upside down, but you still do those same kind of core flexes, you can stop that blood from just running to your head. Say with the high G's, they're thrown all over, both directions, up and down.
I got you. Okay.
It got quiet. No.
I'm looking through my notes. Oh, no. That's it. When I wanted to mention when if you look in the background after Joker with the buzzer electrically kills one of the bosses, you can see in the background there's a naked lady with her boobs covered by like lace or something like that.
Yep.
And then behind Joker, you don't see it as well, there's a naked man.
Yep.
Like, was that just a style thing in the 80s, or what the heck was that?
Oh, no, they were in the back room of one of the clubs owned by the gangsters.
Okay. All right. Now, besides that, then later on, when Joker kills Grissom, okay? Like, there's a lot of fairly, not scary, like, gross, no, that's the wrong word. Horrifying kind of things in this movie, and to keep the PG-13 rating, Grissom says, bull spit. Not shit, spit. Like, they allowed so much more, and yet they couldn't allow them shit past PG-13. That didn't make sense to me.
Well, the bull spit is also just kind of the way he talked.
We didn't see him talk enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just more believable for how he would say it. We gotta remember, even in the early '90s and stuff, like, a lot of movies that we watched that have a rating of like PG or PG-13, they got away with so much more than what movies we watch now do that have R rating. Like a lot of the movies that we watch that are especially from the mid to late '80s, like, oh, it's a PG-13 movie. Like, man, I got movies of a hard R that came out last year that don't show as many tits as that movie did.
Which one was that one again?
I mean, you got movies like Meatballs and stuff like that. Like, those are PG-13 movies.
I don't remember. Okay, fine. I'll take your word for it.
Or even some of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
True.
Are PG-13. Those would be hard R's right now. Those would be we're checking ID at the door R-rated movies. Those very few that have come out in the last couple of years.
I got you, yeah.
How I think the last one of those that I went to was fucking Borat. Yeah, me and my friends went to the midnight release of Borat, and fucking we got ID checked 3 times.
3 times?
We got ID checked at the door to buy the ticket. We got ID checked immediately after concession to walk down the hallway to the theater, and got ID checked one more time at the door to the theater itself before we could take our seat.
Wow. Okay. Fudge.
Or a movie like this was not the uncensored DVD version that came out a year later. This was the regular theatrical version with the R rating.
Okay.
I saw Showgirls in the theaters, and I didn't get carded fucking once. And that movie had an NC-17 rating, and that movie came out when I was fucking 10.
Long live Jesse Spano. No, like, okay.
But listen, even by today's standard, like that movie came out and it was so controversial because it had the NC-17 rating, which is basically what an R rating is. It's no child admitted under the age of 17.
Except more strict because legally, no, if a kid sees this, you're liable.
Yeah, like even with a parent or guardian, you weren't supposed to go see an NC-17. An R can still be seen with a parent or guardian.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie, it was so controversial because it was one of the wide release movies that had the NC-17, and by today's standards, it's a PG-13. I mean, okay, yeah, there's a lot of tits in it, but like the censored version that they show on VH1 every fucking Sunday for the last decade.
Every Sunday?
When I had satellite, it was on every fucking weekend.
All right,
for
fine.
Like years. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, for years they were showing it almost every Sunday. And the only thing they did was they blurred out the tit. Oh, and they paint in one of the scenes, like one of the big dance numbers, they drew on some dresses.
Okay, that's why Spanish and Polish TV is superior. I do not speak Polish, but I speak titty. And they had some awesome, like in all seriousness, they did not censor anything.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like they barely censored these movies, and then you can show it on broadcast TV. It was a nothing censorship. Like even the blur, it wasn't like they pixelated. It was that soft blur, so you could still see everything.
Long live soft censorship, or better yet, no censorship. Now, one more thing: how does a crazy guy like Jack Napier, okay, who's serious, who likes killing, he's a little like menacingly happy-ish, okay, go to completely and utterly chaotic, psychopathic, fun-loving antics? That, like, going that serious to that crazy, like, that's...
Oh,
go for it.
He explains that.
When?
See, there's a point when everybody's living their life according to society's rules. How you look, how you act. You know, when you look a certain way, you're supposed to act a certain way. When you act a certain way, it's because you look a certain way. And what he even says, what falling into that vat of chemicals did to him was give him the opportunity to stop caring. He can't fix how he looks, so he can act the way he's always wanted to act. He has always been this psycho who just wants to have fun with life, living it his way, but he's always had to restrain himself because he was this ugly dude who no one would let get away with doing crazy shit. He's the kind of guy who, like, that dude looks like he's going to do something crazy. We should watch that motherfucker. And then once he gets disfigured by the acid, by the chemicals, then it becomes, oh, everybody's trying their best not to look at me, so I'm going to make them look at me. I'm going to do the crazy shit that they've always thought I was capable of, but never let me get away with doing because now nobody wants to look at me. He went from being the guy who's always in the shadows that everybody's watching so that he doesn't act up to being the guy who everybody's trying their best to ignore, so he's forcing them to become his audience.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was taking that speech completely differently. I thought it was more along the lines of trying to explain...
Well, he even says he's a living work of art now.
True. Okay, yeah. But, okay, the fact that he did that to his girlfriend, like, hitting her with acid and stuff, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he's chasing after Vicky, well, he wants to do the same thing, I know, but fuck.
Well, that was her penalty for cheating on him with Knock. Or was it Grissom?
Grissom. She was Grissom's girl first. That makes no sense to me, but fine, whatever. I don't pretend to know how a psychopath thinks, or sociopath, whatever the hell he is.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. Sociopaths have no remorse or understanding how others react. psychopaths understand how others react, and they just don't care. And if anything, Joker in this movie, Nicholson's character, Jack Nature, he shows this great understanding of how other people perceive him and perceive the world around him. He knows that. He understands that. He doesn't give a fuck. He's going to make you interact with the world his way.
Okay, overall, like, in the movie, what did you think of Nicholson? I mean, not Nicholson, Keaton. What do you call it?
I loved it. Like this movie is still always going to be one of my favorite Batman movies. Okay, it might not be the best Batman movie, but it is one of the best of the live action Batman movies. And this movie it laid the groundwork for what became the definitive way to portray Batman, which is Batman has a voice in a deeper register, maybe with a little bit of gruff to it, whereas Bruce Wayne has a normal speaking voice. So whatever actor is portraying him, it's how you would normally talk, is how you are Bruce Wayne. And when you're Batman, you bring it down a little. You put a little bit of gruff on your voice, and now you're Batman. And that started with Keaton.
Okay, there's Keaton, okay? Then there's Kilmer. Then there's the utter ridiculousness that is freaking Bale. In all seriousness.
Bale was stretching his voice. He was going too hard. Honestly, in terms of Batman portrayals, I would say Kilmer and Keaton and Pattinson are some of the best Batmen.
I disagree. I think it's Keaton.
Whereas all the others make better Bruce Wayne.
Okay, I disagree. For me, it's Keaton, then it's Pattinson, and I really didn't like Kilmer's. I don't know why. Kilmer just felt a little too whiny.
Well, again, are you doing Kilmer Batman or Kilmer Bruce Wayne?
Kilmer Batman.
Could you
okay, Kilmer.
You always have to separate them.
Fine, Kilmer Bruce Wayne. Fine. I don't separate them. I don't want to, but fine.
But
separating
you have
them.
To separate.
You don't have to do shit unless
you
you're paid.
Do because the only people who understand that there is no Bruce Wayne, only Batman, is Bruce Wayne.
Fine. Okay.
And that's a canonical thing from the comic book. When you have Wonder Woman puts her lasso of truth on a bunch of the different superheroes and what's your name? And they all say the secret identities. She puts it on Batman. And who are you? I'm Batman. That means in his mind, 100% truthfully, in his soul, he's Batman. He is not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a persona put on by Batman.
Okay, fine. In your head, who are you?
I am me as I am you, as we are all together.
I am one with the source. We are all one with the source, and I am one with them, and they are one with me.
I am the Eggman.
Cuckoo, true.
I knew you'd get it.
Okay, overall, this movie is... Okay, I think...
This movie is great.
It's great, but I think of this movie the same way I think of Alien. Okay? Alien. Good movie. Aliens. Even better because they found what works and then they expanded on it. Same idea, okay? This is a good movie. Okay? This is a great movie. It has its growing pains, as it were, but then when you get to Batman Returns, it's fucking amazing.
They ratchet up the noir and they ratchet up the camp in Returns, and it's like, okay, this, like, Batman '89 feels like a Spielberg movie that just happens to be directed by Tim Burton, whereas Batman Returns is a Tim Burton movie that happens to be produced by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Because by the time, Beetlejuice had came out around the same time or a year before Batman came out. So we already had this feel for what is a Tim Burton movie. And you get some elements of that in Batman. But you don't really get Tim Burton. But in Batman Returns, that's a fucking Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, even finding the what do you call it? Finding the pace that set everything else, like uh, what's it called? Batman and Robin, all that into place. Like, okay, yes, Schumacher changed shit, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
even
Schumacher changed it, but he didn't go like he went harder on the camp too, but he went with that weird '90s kind of nightclub feel that everything was getting at the time, which bad direction for live action movies. It would have been great if those had been animated.
okay, yes, I agree. Now, the the one thing I did like through the series, like not through the series, would you call it a series? It was different,
But
different
it's a
directors,
series of
different.
movies.
Okay, the series of movies. Okay, for the most part they seemed, at least in my view, to keep Gotham at least kind of the same.
Yes, that's something I do like. Like even with the Schumacher films, Gotham is still basically that same weird, gritty film noir city. It's like, yeah, the first movie set in the '80s, yet Gotham is kind of stuck in the '50s. Like, yeah, okay, the cars are a little bit more modern, but look at the architecture. That architecture is definitely these buildings were built in the '20s, '30s, '40s. There's no modern architecture there. And then you get Batman Returns, similar thing. You know that there's been new construction, but for some reason they kept to the same aesthetic of these, 40s, 50s style architecture. Then you get the Schumacher movies, and again, you've got the bright neon lights, you've got the blacklight paint, the day glow colors on some of the outfits that people are wearing, but the architecture is still this 40s, 50s, 60s architecture. We're not jumping to more and more recent times with the type of architecture you're seeing, even though the movies are getting more and more modern. And that's the kind of cool thing that Gotham aesthetic has always stayed the same. And even when you transition to the Nolan movie, Nolan very specifically set Gotham to be Chicago because what the downtown Chicago has a ton of monolithic buildings that were built in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s that have that unique look.
Not so much anymore, unfortunately. A lot of it's
Well,
going
yeah, but
away.
that's why the last of the Nolan movies was shot in New York because they tore down a bunch of the really cool iconic buildings that made up the Chicago Gotham skyline by the time they made the third movie. And then when The Batman came out, the Pattinson movie, again, it was New York with some bits shot in Chicago just because we still have some of the neighborhoods, some of the buildings that looked right. But then they're also in Georgia, they're also in Vancouver and stuff.
Yeah,
So
to get the right feel, you have to go
it
all over.
yeah. But like I said, Nolan very specifically chose downtown Chicago to be downtown Gotham for that look. I mean, we still kind of have it. Our main downtown area is still kind of these old buildings. We have not really tore down any of those big skyscrapers. The problem is at street level, we've remodeled and they all look so much more modern at street level. Our skyline is still very 50s if you paint out Trump Tower.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Mostly 50s, yeah.
Like, honestly, of all the crap that's downtown that makes our skyline, Trump Tower is an eyesore. Like, up close, it's actually a nice looking building when you're near it and kind of looking around it. I like the curved glass of it. I like the colors of the exterior, that kind of grayish blue. Like, it looks fine until he put them big giant ass letters that say Trump across the front of it. It was a good looking building until then.
I don't even remember what it looked like beforehand.
Honestly, you just take those letters off the front of it, and that's what it looks like.
Then why would
That's
you
the
call it
only change. I just mean from far away when you're looking at our skyline, you've got blocky building, you've got swoopy building, blocky building, swoopy building, blocky building, swoopy building. This weird angular yet oval cylinder, not quite cylinder thing. Blocky building, swoopy building, blocky building, swoopy. Like it stands out in our skyline. which is why even now new movies and new TV shows, when they show establishing shots of the skyline, they're shot from so much closer to, especially when you're coming from the lake. All the skyline shots are shot closer to the city now, closer to shore, so that they cut out Trump Tower. It is not aesthetically pleasing compared to the rest of the skyline.
Okay, yeah.
It's not an ugly building. It's just, it doesn't say Chicago the way the other buildings do. I think that's a fair assessment of it. Do you think that's a fair assessment of it?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I mean,
from the skyline we grew up with as kids.
Yeah, I'll give you that. They did something to the. Okay, as a kid I called it the pencil, but I forgot what it's actually called. The one that's like right by Michigan and Michigan and Randolph. It's like right on around that corner. It used to project stuff at the top. Before the actual building that looks like a pen or pencil, like showed up a couple blocks down. My family called that the pencil. Yeah. And it used to have pictures
what
on
that building was.
I forgot what it's called, but yeah, like I like that building, and then they changed something to it over the years. I really don't remember what, but I know that they changed something, and it annoys the crap out of me.
It got a big facelift, and now it just looks not right. Like, it's hard to point out what they did to it, but something about it is like, that's not the building that was there. But it's the building that was there. It's just that little change makes it seem so different. And part of me thinks that all they did was they stripped off all the dark colored paint from around the windows and replaced it with silver paint. So it reflected light instead of absorbed light. Kind of like the plan that they want to do to the Sears Tower.
I wouldn't reflect it. That would be too scary in terms of like harming anybody.
Well, no, they don't want to make it super reflective, but like they don't want to take the dark coating off the windows of the Sears Tower, but all the black paint that's on the metal that goes around the windows, they want to shave all that off and make it silver or gray so that it reflects some of the light so that they don't need to use as much AC in the summer to cool the building off, but leave the dark glass so it still heats up with the sunlight and doesn't reflect and, melt cars on the street like that one building in fucking, I think it's Vancouver.
I think it was.
Yeah. I'm sure they're never actually going to do it, but they've been proposing it for 15 years now.
Okay, one thing I have to mention in this movie that is utterly beautiful is the climax where Batman comes up to Joker and says, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" or something like that.
Yes.
And then we have the fight where you can't get mad at me. You made me. Yeah, you made me too. And yeah, all that.
Yeah. It's like, I made you. You're right. You made me first.
And then just like fighting and then still joking. And then like the fact that we think he's dead. And then no, he comes back like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like
that's one thing for this movie. I think this is the only of the live action Batman movies where Batman gets his ass handed to him by the henchman before he has the final fight with the main villain.
To be fair, he already had a couple of issues, but with that being said, there were like 2 or 3 henchmen in that fight who literally just killed themselves. No, hold on.
True. And okay. Also, to be fair, Batman did just crash his plane.
True.
And then he got his ass kicked by a bunch of henchmen, and they'll then still climb 20-story staircase to get to the roof with Joker. Which, a fun fact for that whole scene in the church, from the point when Joker asked for the helicopter, he goes, transportation for 2. And they're like, okay, we'll be ready in 5 minutes. You know what? Make it 10. From that point until the helicopter actually arrives and is on the screen, plays out in real time, that whole bit takes a full 10 minutes.
Damn.
If you start the timer right when the guy replies to, make it 10. Okay, be there in 10 minutes. From that point until the helicopter is actually seen on screen is 10 minutes long.
10.
So in 10 minutes, He went into the cathedral. Batman climbed out of the wreckage of the Batplane. Joker dragged Vicky onto the roof of the cathedral. Batman fought the henchman, climbed his way up to the cathedral, dodged having the church bell dropped on him, had the fist fight with the Joker, proceeded to go out on the roof with him, and then had to get thrown off the roof by Joker to barely hang on, and then the helicopter. There's a lot of shit happened in 10 minutes.
Fuck.
But yeah, from that whole scene plays out in real time. It wasn't shot in real time, but it plays out what we see as the audience watching the movie. It's 10 minutes of time.
Damn.
I know. Dumb, cool, fun fact about that scene. Also, another thing that is important to point out, the Danny Elfman score.
Yes. Oh my god, it was fucking amazing.
The Danny Elfman music that basically, from that point on, even now, is the definitive Batman music. Like, it is amazing.
Nobody can do it better. And I don't mean that as a insult to anyone. I mean, like, leave the beauty of what it is as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, the music's not perfect, but it's damn near. And just that score, the Batman theme that we get versions of in all Batman media since this movie came out, that's all Danny Elfman.
He's getting up there. I am going to miss that man when he's gone.
I mean, it was perfected for the Batman series when they added in the orchestra, and then truly perfected with Mask of the Phantasm. I forget the name of the woman who helped with the scoring for that movie, but like the way the little punch ups that she did for Mask of the Phantasm to turn Danny Elfman's nearly perfect score into the masterpiece that we got for that movie. And then, like, that's the version we hear when you hear the Batman, like, the sting that they play in, like, Justice League and things like that. That's the version that we got from Mask of the Phantasm. Once again, that version wouldn't exist without this version from the Batman 89 as its base.
Damn. Like, okay. All in all, like, this movie has a couple issues. We've mentioned them. But this movie is the amazing idea, first son, quote unquote, of what became an incredible era of the Dark Knight through the 90s into the early 2000s.
Yes. Like, I would say this is what, I mean, it didn't really need a revival, but this is what revived the franchise for the fans that brought new people into it. I mean, around this time, you know, end of the 80s, early 90s, that's when you started having the George Miller Dark Knight books, which were great, but like they weren't bringing new blood into the franchise. They were bringing, you know, those are books for the fan. And what it really needed was it needed new life. It needed to bring kids back into the fold. You needed to get younger kids who wanted to be Batman, who wanted to read about Batman, to see Batman, to watch Batman. You weren't getting that with the George Miller books. Those are for the older people. Those are for the people who are already longtime fans. What this movie did was it brought kids back into it because you also had the toys that you got, not just the toys from the toy stores, but the Happy Meals, the Burger King toys, the Taco Bell toys. Like, this is one of those movies that just went hard on the franchising rights, the merchandising rights.
No, I agree.
And realistically, this is one of those movies that helped make Jack Nicholson a very rich man because he signed a deal for a percentage of the I can't remember if it was a percentage of the box office or a percentage of the total, like, the merchandising stuff. But he made over $60 million on this movie, which adjusted for inflation for now is something like $147 million.
147, damn. Okay.
But at the time that this movie came out, he made roughly $60 million just because of the contract he signed for this movie. on top of what he was already paid. He took minimum payment, and then he just wanted a percentage of, like, I can't remember if it was a box office or just a total gross revenue, but he ended up making just his portion alone was $60 million.
I can't even fathom that amount of money.
Most people can't. Oh, we can talk about. There is one thing. The one thing that it's hard to wrap your head around as something that Alfred would actually do, and that is after Joker shoots Bruce Wayne at Vicky Vale's apartment, and Bruce Wayne disappeared. Alfred is the one who goes and gets her and brings her to the Batcave. So Alfred is technically the one who told Vicky Vale that Bruce Wayne is Batman, because Joker interrupted Bruce Wayne from actually telling her. And from the comics, from all the other iterations that we know of Alfred would rather die than ever expose Bruce's secret. But he brought Vicky Vale into the fight.
Yeah.
Without telling Bruce.
That was weird. Okay, I never expected that from Alfred. I expected that he would maybe, quote unquote, hint or be like, stay here for a while and then go get Bruce, and then Bruce brings her into the clock or something like that. But
yeah.
Also, another weird thing about Alfred, and it's literally just like a little comedic thing, when Bruce first meets Vicky, like, he's signing an autograph for somebody, it looks like, and she says, "Have you seen Bruce Wayne?" And he's like, I don't know who that is. And like, all right, thanks anyways. And then he looks back, he sees how hot she is. He sticks the pen in a plant, and Alfred literally is right behind him, grabs the pen like he knew it was gonna happen. And like, I don't know if that's either a doting father or it's like, I know you too well. Like, not, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think?
Well, it's also like right before he does that, he has the empty platter that he puts Bruce's empty glass on, his champagne glass. But then the whole time you see him, he takes that pen and puts it in his pocket. He comes around another guest. He's got the one glass perfectly balanced on this platter. Not bothering with any fucking thing else, because he's got Master Bruce's glass.
There has
but he does some acrobatics with that goddamn thing.
He does. No, you're right. He does. All in all, little things. Also, if I remember correctly, that's the same Alfred they had in every single movie, up until Freeze.
Yes, and, until he died. No, he was in the Freeze one too.
He was?
Yeah, okay. He's in both of the Tim Burton ones. He's in both of the Schumacher movies. But he died before Nolan could make his, which is why we get Michael Caine in the Nolan one. But yeah, I'd say he's one of the best Alfreds. I love him.
I miss him. And not to take anything away from Jeremy Irons, but
Jeremy Irons he's a good, like, I like him. He's a good Alfred. But what he's really good at is he's not good at the doting butler. He's not good at the manservant. What he's good at portraying is the fact that before Alfred Pennyworth became a butler to the Wayne family, he was a Marine. And Jeremy Irons portrays that this is a former military man better than some of the other actors have. Like, honestly, I could see Jeremy Irons Alfred being the Alfred who kicks the living shit out of Superman with a shotgun.
Agreed.
I could see that more than I could see Michael Caine, or I don't know why I can't remember the name of the actor who played him in the Burton Batman. But yeah, I can't see them being that badass of literally kicking the shit out of Batman and winning. But I could see that from the Jeremy Irons version.
Agreed. I mean, there's so many different Alfreds that there have been. Like, Alfred has still been able to kick ass at the very least because he was skilled with, I forgot who was it, but he was skilled with a not a cane, with a paraguas, umbrella. There we go.
Yeah, that's from sword fighting training. Basically, all the martial arts training that Bruce did as a child, Alfred did with him until they established the canon that Alfred used to be a Marine, and then it was all the martial arts training that Bruce went through as a child was Alfred teaching him.
Oh, by the way, the Alfred from...
And then when he got beyond that, it was other teachers would teach him.
All right, so the Alfred from this movie up until his death is Francis Michael Gough.
Okay.
Or Gough. I'm not sure. Probably Gough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's another great actor, great portrayal of this character. I mean, I know he's in other movies, but sadly, he's forgettable in other movies. He's Alfred.
He is. I mean, he was in a lot of different movies, specifically Hammer horror films.
Yeah, a lot of those older actors actors who were older by the time of the 1990s and stuff, they basically made their careers on the Hammer horror stuff.
All right, I've said literally everything in my notes. You got anything else you want to add?
Not a lot. I mean, other than Bob, Jack's number one henchman. There's actually a point. There's actually a point in the movie where, I think someone questions why he's always around. He goes, "I'm Joker's number one. He picked me. He said I'm his number one." And then, like a couple scenes later, that's when Joker shoots him.
Yeah.
But he was basically Jack's go-to henchman. Like he was even there when Jack Napier killed Thomas and Martha.
I did not even notice that.
Yeah, that's Bob.
Like, okay,
the one who's actually doing the robbing.
What's it called?
Because Bob does the heavy work, and Jack is just the guy.
The part where Joker gives Bob the mission, I forgot which mission it was, and he's like, "You're my guy," and like literally that exaggerated thing and shaking him about. Like, that was so weird.
And that's the point when Bob just accepts I'm the number one henchman because he picked me. I'm his guy. Because from that point on is when you start seeing him, he's always right there by Joker's side. He's the first henchman in the room, even though he's useless most of the time. But he's his guy. Although I do love the joke. They do make it multiple times of, I'm going to need a moment or two alone, boys. And the first time, it's just everybody leaves the room. And then the next time, they start dragging the dead bodies out of the room.
Yeah.
And then the third time they make that joke, it's at the parade when all the henchmen just start shooting up into the air. All right, everybody, get away. They're literally just clearing the area because I'm going to need a minute or two alone. Like, these henchmen are just so loyal to Joker. Like, they're not trying to hurt anyone. They're just like, he said he wants alone time. Get the fuck away from here.
All in all, this movie has so many little things. Like, I didn't even notice that until the parade.
Oh, that Bob's right next to him all the time?
Yeah.
Or the, I don't need a moment or two alone, boys.
No, the I'm gonna need a moment or two alone, and then going into the
Bobby and his friends?
No, going into everybody, like, clearing everybody out. That, I didn't even notice that until later on. I thought that was only one time.
Yeah, no, the very first time he does it, it's like all the henchmen leave. Because he's got like 3 or 4 guys around him. And that's when he's still Jack. It's early in the movie. I would need a moment or two alone. And everybody looks around, and then they all just kind of fade. You don't know where they go. They just kind of stop being around. And then the next time he does it is after he kills Antoine, which is when he does the Joy Buzzer of Death. After that, he goes, I'm going to need a moment or two alone. And they get all the other bosses out of there, but they drag Anton's body out of the room too. And then I think there's like 4 moments of it, and every time there's like it just gets bigger and bigger.
There was
and all he says is, "I need a moment or two alone, boys."
There are 2 moments in this movie that kind of reminded me of the gameplay in Final Fantasies like 7 through 9. Because I don't know if this is rotoscoping exactly, but like where they had the figures of like Batman and Vicky Vale going up, and you could see them. They were really small compared to a really large a backdrop it was painting. And then when Joker was coming down the street, making it larger than it really was, like it was a painting, and then you could see them moving down it. Like it looked like that because that's what Squaresoft used to do with the games. You would have the sprites literally walking on top of basically a painting. Is that rotoscoping or?
Well, it's rotoscoping, but it's also using a matte painting for your background. So the paintings in the foreground when you do it with the actors and stuff. So that's painted on a plate of glass that's right in front of the camera. And then the forced perspective of the people walking towards that painting. So as the people are getting bigger, you're walking toward the smallest points of the painting.
Okay.
But that means, like, when they make that painting, it has to be almost perfectly accurate to scale of, okay, you need to start this far away from the camera and walk towards us because the background is not going to change. You have to be at scale, and they have to walk at a certain speed and everything so that it matches scale. You don't get that uncanny valley. Oh, that looks fucking weird kind of look. And you get a ton of movies that were made before this, and even some that were made after this. And just before computer animation became really big, you had these hand-drawn plates. You see it a lot in Star Wars, the Indiana Jones movies. You got it. You also see it a lot in just animated movies too, where like when they're animating the cells, they have this plate that is, okay, this is your matte background. We already painted it. The animation cells they're flipping through behind this plate of glass.
Okay.
So they have to be at the right speed. They have to be at the right scale because this is a static painting. And that's even like you see it in cartoons all the time. You still kind of do, but a great example of that would be like Dragon Ball Z, when you have, you knew which one of the mountains was going to get destroyed because it was a different color. Well, that's because the whole background is this matte image, and then the stuff that's going to be interacted with is painted differently, so it's a slightly different shade of color.
Okay, overall, like, we could talk about this movie for a while, obviously, but
yes,
like, do you want to?
In general, great movie. I think that's about it. Like, there's no pertinent information we can give people. Like, almost everything we've said is basic trivia that most people probably know or have looked up about this movie. This movie's almost 40 years old,
and still,
if you haven't seen it, watch it. It holds up. It's a good movie. It's not great. It has its moment of like, oh, that's stupid.
Okay, like
most movies do when they hit that age period, though.
Like, okay, being the icon that it is, I would give this a 4.8. But being like for its age and everything, like even with everything that's amazing in this movie, I'd give it a 3.9. How about you?
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 3.9 to 4.5. Most of the points off that it gets are almost entirely for its age. Some things are dated. They don't work as well in the modern day. That doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Agreed.
It's definitely worth watching. If this episode goes up in a timely fashion, check it out on Tubi while it's still on Tubi. If it doesn't, which most likely it won't.
It's going to go out third week of January.
You say that, but realistically, this might go up sometime in July. And you better leave that bit in.
I'll leave it in, but it won't be right.
But if it's already off Tubi by then, find it to rent on your whatever streaming platform of choice you like is, and it's available. I forget which ones it's available on. I think Max, because Max is Warner Brothers HBO.
Right. Okay.
So you can probably definitely watch it there. If you can find the Blu-ray, find the DVD. I know there's a Blu-ray compilation that came out a while ago. I think last year or the year before, of all the Batman movies. Definitely picked that up. It's a great movie. This is worth watching. If you can find this movie to watch in any way, watch it.
If you have any kind of rental store nearby you that still does Blu-rays or DVDs, go for it. People from Bend, Oregon, go to that Blockbuster.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's about all we can say about this movie.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Good night. Be good to one another.
Keep the faith. Have a good night. Bye.